Hi again. This is Charles LeBlanc, and you're watching Real People with Real Answers. And the reason why we call this show this is it's a For God production by Friends of Justice. We call it this because we're looking for answers for today's society. Society is really being stressed by the problems that it's faced with: economic problems, crime problems, and homelessness, health problems. Everybody is putting a lot of weight on the shoulders of President Obama, and we knew already from the very beginning that one man could not handle all this. This is why organizations like this one must step in. We do a service for the public that can't be bought, and if it could be, it's very limited, if at all available. And today on Real People with Real Answers, we have some other guests with us. We hold up a book at the beginning of the show because you're going to hear some things that you haven't heard before. You're going to see things that you've never seen before, and you're going to have to trust us or trust us not. That's why we call it, the God factor, whether you believe in God or not. The key word in that, you see it's in yellow, believe it or not. Now that was Ripley's. Okay, I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember when we used to read Ripley's in the paper and we just gasped, how could this be? We weren't there, so we can't prove it. All we could do is have faith in Ripley's. But we're asking you to have faith in God to understand that every one of us lives by faith. I don't care who you are, the agnostic, the atheist, the Christian, the Muslim, the whatever, okay? You live by faith because we simply just don't know what the next second might bring. And so this is just a little explanation. You'll be seeing other shows relating to Friends of Justice and some of the problems of society. Now, I have my friend Andre Bellos on, and he's an expert researcher in different areas. This is why we have him on. And we have two guests with us today, and we're going to let them introduce themselves. But I'm going to let Andre say a few words of introduction, and then we're going to introduce our guests today as well. So we want you to hold tight because we're trying to have a lively conversation about the things that's going to happen, the things that we're dealing with in this society. And we hope that maybe you can find a solution in what we're doing. So Andre, what are some of the things we might talk about today?
Well, today we'll talk about a few objects. Of course, we'll talk what's the prophecy say? And the biggest one we'll probably talk, and the biggest shock for people, is the foreclosure crisis and how can we stop it? The real actual solution, not just the talk. Today I'm going to touch up on hardest subjects. It's a lot of history written on it, and it's a lot of proof. It's not just a talk. So if anybody needs sometimes more information about it, just contact us. I have all the proofs, all the paperwork. So go ahead and introduce yourself, guys, and we'll start talking.
I'm going to begin with Philip here because Philip has also brought a guest, and I'll have him introduce his guest. But this is Philip Marion, and he's going to have his own show. We're pushing for him to get on the stick, and he's got a commitment to do something about society. That's why we have him on the show, because he's a real person in the real limelight doing some real things to try to help people understand how to deal with our present situation. So Philip, what do you have for us today? Who's your friend, and tell us a little bit about what you do.
This is my friend Willie, and sometimes we get in the Word, talk about the truth, talk about life,
I like that.
talk about what's going on. I'm still learning, finding out what I don't know.
All right, we all are.
But it's out there.
It is. You just got to look for it.
And what type of services do you offer?
Right now, it's not completely set up yet.
Okay.
So,
all right.
It will be out there soon.
You share with us your dream a little bit. How do you see repairing society? What are some of the things that we need to do to repair our society? First of all, what are the problems that you see in society? That you see personally?
See a whole lot of problems.
Like
That's a whole lot of problem that everybody else see. It's out there.
Okay.
I mean, my problems. I don't have any problems. You know, it just what goes on in life every day, and we
Okay.
all know that.
All right, and I'll give your friend a chance to speak again.
I'd like to say hello to the public. Thank you for joining us. It's very important that we have understanding that there's a way of dealing with problems. There's a way of dealing with issues. But today's issue is real talk. And if there's a problem that one can solve, hopefully the people at this panel could do that for them. Open-heartedly, we find it very important that today's society should know that we are here with listening ears.
All right. Well,
You had the newspaper today about something about the wages.
why you can't live on minimum wages? Sure, you can. I've lived on things lower than minimum wages. Well, first of all, what do you think is minimum wages? What do you think is minimum wage?
Well, it
Just
should be
throw it.
$7 an hour.
Huh?
Should have been $7 an hour. That's
It
the
should.
well, because they say well it's $7 an hour. But
Okay. Well, how much does that add up to in about a year?
In a year, I don't know.
Let's figure 7 times what? 7
54.
times, or 40 is what? I mean, 7 times 4 is 28. That's about 300. Let's say, just give them the benefit of the doubt, $300 a week.
Can't live off of it.
You can't live off $300 a week?
No.
40 hours. Did I add that up? 40
Yeah.
times 7 and 7
Yeah,
times 4,
380.
28. Okay. Yeah. So about 3. Well, of course, you don't get that. You don't get that entire 300 anyway. What happens?
After you paying your bill, light, rent,
You
light
pay up-
bill that they charge
gotta-
you with
gotta
everything
pay up
else
for
on.
Sam first. Even before you get that, he's got a little savings account for you. You call it income tax. What do you think
I
about
was just
that?
calculating off when he already took his money.
He get it off the top. You have to pay into his bank account, and he call it your bank account because you pray and hope that he gonna give you your money back. Your money back. That's your money.
Social Security is your money too, and at the
Yeah.
same time, you see where Social Security went.
Yeah. Okay.
Stolen
Then what
from-
happens if you die? You don't get that. Where does that go?
Back
Where
to
does
the
that
state.
go?
Somebody's pocket.
Well, anyway, so much for.
Something I can't even worry about because I'm gonna be gone.
Okay, but this thing talks about the housing. How much is generally rent for one person? I'm gonna give you all a little quiz here.
About 470.
Rent for one
500.
person, man. I think
Depending on
you
where
read
you,
my paper.
depending on where your finance status sitting at.
It says for one person, $470. I'm suspecting you. Okay, all right. What happens if you have one baby? Now they directing this to the females. Hopefully, you men don't have no babies, but.
I got a whole
Got a
lot
lot
of.
of kids.
I just wanted to pick a
Like
nerve. Huh?
Got a whole lot of.
Well, for the fathers out there that's taking care of your kids and got the kids,
Thank you.
that
I'm
is,
glad you brought that up. I was just seeing if you was on your toes.
it's very important that we take care of our kids and show them and guidance. But as he was saying, minimum wage is it should be $10 to $15 an hour, so that we might be able, society might be able to cope and do what we're supposed to do as far as taking care of family, of the society.
But okay, all right, we're gonna get to that.
What about inflation?
But let's look at some figures.
Yep.
One person with one infant is your housing is gonna cost you $567. You know, and we're not even talking about a family, okay? But one worker, a preschooler, and another one. That's with two workers, it jumps to 500. Well, no, it stays the same because I guess they're gonna pile you up in the same room, you know, that kind of thing. So as it goes, you got $140 for utilities, $233 for food, and I should have my calculator out here. Transportation is going to cost you $562. With child care, that's going to add another $599. Okay, well, how many times can $300 go into the month? 300 times 4 is what?
1,200.
Okay, and minus 50, let's take 50 off the top for Uncle Sam. So that's $250 a week times what? That's only $1,000 a month. Okay, $1,000 a month. Already we got 400 and 100. That's 500. Another 200. That's 700. Another 500. That's 1,200. And we're not even halfway down the list of what you need.
I'll never make it.
For living.
And we're living.
Yeah, and so this is why we need to understand what people need to do. Why is there such a lopsidedness? You know what?
There's
I
many
noticed?
factors.
I noticed one thing in our society. Okay, the movie industry is making billions, yea, trillions of dollars. Okay, there's something wrong with that. There's a group of people making trillions of dollars, and the other end of the scale, people are not. They're barely living. Okay. I think that part of the problem is greed.
Yes.
Okay. And does greed only start at the top level? Where is greed?
Greed says in a good book, it says it's never satisfied. It's just like fire. It's never satisfied. Love of money is the root of all evil. Greed is this thing which is, first time when I came to the United States, I was brought up by the pastor. And he told me, well, I told him actually, I want to go and make some money. I'll make $7 an hour. I'll be happy, because we used to make $30 a month, and we was happy. And then you have to wait 3 months before you get that 30 months. So it's 90 days minimum delay. So then he said, what is rich enough? How much rich is rich enough?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's actually kind of got stuck in my head. Really, I mean, if people just thinking about, I'm going to get me settle my retirement plan and I don't have to work anymore and I'm going to have $1 million in my banking account and then I don't have to work, that's a foolish thought, because those thoughts are only involve your own plans, your own selfishness. You always totally ignore what God's plan is. And we actually, as you can see with this wicked weather and everything else, we live in one of the last period of the Bible prophecies. And you really got to pay attention to what God's plan is versus my own pension plan, because your pension plan may never come, the Social Security and stuff.
Well, the world ended last week, you know that.
Oh my goodness, man. It was a rapture. But it
Yeah,
was
right.
a decoy.
But
you have to remember
I'm
this
still
is...
here. I don't know, we missed it. Maybe we weren't among those 8 people that got raptured.
Oh my goodness, 8 of them?
Yeah. Because it was like in the days of Noah, and that's another subject.
Yeah,
Let me
it's a
leave that
total
alone.
different...
Okay.
But
Anyway,
the prophecies...
He's looking at me like...
I've heard that, but the sad part of trying to predict, it would be like to predict the weather. It took scientists years to try and predict forecasts. First they predicted 1 day, then they got up to 2 days, now they're up to 7 days, now they're up to 2 weeks. But at any time of moment, given a change, will a weather change. But the factor, like you said, we can't predict anything. All we can do is, as he would say, the times of the seasons was written in the book. So for everything that we have, there's a time and there's a season. The time is now to understand that the end had already had ended. It's like a fan. Once you unplug it, it's going to turn, but it's eventually going to come to a stop. So no one knows when, but you can assure yourself that it's already have stopped. They try and put time on time. but you
Well,
can't
there
do
is I kind of want to agree 100% with you. You shouldn't put times, but there's a certain things, Bible prophecies are talks about specific set time, and the Bible teaches us about time appointed. There's a certain things which will happen at the appointed time.
Was the rapture one of those?